We maneuvered him around. We got the hooks in, a lot of different ways to do that, but we're just focusing on the rear naked choke here, all right? He's leg pressing, he's pushing back here. We got our hooks in. The hand fight is so important here. Being able to develop a powerful hand fight here, peeling this off. If you can't peel this hand off, if you can't peel it off, he's got both hands on the choking arm. There's really nothing you can do here. You must develop a hand fight, making it one-on-one as you're climbing up his shoulder. Then from here, quickly bring your right arm up and around, and we squeeze. Developing an anaconda-like squeeze is huge. One way you can practice is you can practice on your knees. Whoever has the strongest squeeze has the best rear naked choke. Marcelo Garcia's rear naked choke is the best. He has the most powerful squeeze. The way to develop your squeeze on your own, you're sitting there watching TV, you're on your computer, you can choke out your knee here. Just wrap your arm around your knee and like you're slicing off the top of your knee here. My wrist is under my chin and we're squeezing. You can work both sides. It's gonna hurt your forearm. You want it to hurt your forearm. That's when you know you're squeezing hard enough. And try to hold it for 10 seconds. Your bicep's gonna squeeze, your knee bone is just driving into your forearm and your bicep. But that's how you develop the squeeze. You can also develop it a less painful way by just going around your leg here. It's not as painful. And then you squeeze. It doesn't really hurt your arms as much. It's just muscle. But you could still work on your squeeze. The painful way is the best way because you know you're doing it right. Again, the basic principles of attacking the back. Got to get that over-under. Eventually get your hooks in. Develop a powerful hand fight. No matter what this arm's doing, he tries to swing it back. We're battling it, controlling it. Sink the arm in as deep as possible. Climb on the shoulder. Quickly remove the right hand. It's a basic rear naked choke attack. When attacking the back, I prefer the anaconda as opposed to just the hooks. I like the anaconda, aka body triangle, because I get to squeeze my opponent's stomach. It's harder for them to spin out into my guard. And it creates a couple different submissions of their own that aren't really related too closely to the rear naked choke. They're quite different. First we have to develop the ability to put on the anaconda lightning quick. At first, you're gonna have to use your hands, some of you guys, until you put on enough anacondas where they just come on by themselves. Over the ankle, toes up, not like this. You want the figure four on top if your opponent's on his side. He knows that, so he might try to switch to the other side. You have to be really quick and switch in a flash. He switches back to the other side. You gotta be able to switch. He switches again. You gotta be able to switch. If he switches and you don't switch here, it's not over, but there are footlocks that you can get caught in. That figure four, combined with the weight of his body on the ground, can create a footlock. If you have weak ankles, you can get caught. I've been caught a couple times like this. So generally, for the most part, you want the figure four on top. Now, there are a couple submissions that are based on the squeeze and the power of the anaconda. And for me, personally, when I'm on my left side, I like to go to the Iron Sheik. When I'm on my right side, I like to go to the Dan 7. So first we're gonna show the Iron Sheik. And it doesn't matter, I could do the Iron Sheik on the other side, I could do the Dan 7 on this side. It's just a thing that I developed. If I'm on this side, I'm going Iron Sheik. What's great about the Iron Sheik is If you can't get under his chin for the rear naked choke, Iron Sheik, you don't need to be under his chin. As a matter of fact, you don't need to be anywhere near his chin. All right, the move here is being able to use this anaconda to sweep him forward so he lands face first. So the first move from here, I'm going to get up on my elbow, create some space so that I can create some momentum. I'm just gonna wrap around his forehead, push off on the mat, swing my hips, thrust forward, get him flat on his face, and I'm gonna put all my weight on him, grab his forehead, and pull him up. One of my personal favorite submissions from back control is called the Dan Severn. Now, I'm on his back, I have him on his side, I get him on his side, and I got the anaconda here. He goes to the other side, I do the conda switch, and remember, if I'm on this side, I like hitting Iron Sheiks. But you can't hit the Dan Severn from this side, but I like to hit the Dan Severn from when I'm laying on my right side. If he tries to switch it over and catch my figure four on the bottom here, I switch again. Now, I want to keep him on this side, because the Dan Severn, super high percentage. If you've mastered the squeeze and you've mastered the torque and the neck crank that it is. So from here, rear naked choke is not working, he's defending too well. I can have him on his side. Now I want to bring both my arms out, just like the Iron Sheik. I'm free here, he doesn't have me, he's T-Rexing. I can get up on my elbow, and instead of wrapping around his forehead and thrusting him up and trying to get him face down, all I'm gonna do is just wrap my arm around his neck or his jaw or whatever as he's defending. I'm on my elbow, I put a gable grip on, and now I squeeze the anaconda as hard as I can. I collapse forward and squeeze. If that doesn't work, then I sit back and torque the neck. I'm on his back. If he's on his left side, I'm gonna put an anaconda on and go for the Iron Sheik. If he's on the other side, I'm going for a Dan Severn. They both start off the same. I freed my arms here, I gave up on the rear naked choke. Got the anaconda in, and now we're on our side. I'm just gonna wrap around his head, put a gable grip on, collapse forward and squeeze that anaconda, squeeze here, and we can tap, he can tap here. If he doesn't tap, then we pull him back and twist his chin and jaw, just crank up. This deep hook transition to spider web comes from back control when you're on your back and he's leg pressing. Very hard to get a rear naked choke if he's pushing back and putting pressure on you. So we must transition to spider web from here. Nothing else is working. We can't get him on a side to hit an Iron Sheik or a Dan Severn. So from here, the first thing I gotta do is once I abort the rear naked choke, I go back to over-under control. Extend my hooks. We want them as low as possible. Remember, we're transitioning to spider web, so we're looking for the opportunity to get that deep left hook in. All right, so we got to keep them as low as possible because the first move is locking his left shoulder. Bringing this up, locking the left shoulder, locking the side of the over. My left is the over. We're trying to get his left arm out of the mix. Then I cross my feet here and do leg curls into his chest. I'm not trying to do a leg curl over his right arm, just over his left arm. And I rock him forward. Pull the left arm out and base. I'm doing leg curls into that left arm. Now slowly, we're turning this into spider web. I switch the hooks here, hook the leg here, and then get into perfect spider web. We got the over-under, we're on his back. He's leg pressing, he's doing a great job defending the rear naked choke. So I decide to abort, so I need that control initially here. So I go back to the over-under control, squeezing up tight, up nice and high. Extend my hooks to keep him low. The lower he is, the easier it is to get this left shoulder hooked. Then I cross my feet, doing leg curls, smashing into his chest, not down towards his hips, into his chest, into me, doing leg curls. Swing them forward, pull out my left arm, the under turns into a hook, just to control that hook. And then before we pull this hook out, we insert the deep left hook, leaving no windows, reach for the hip, hook the leg. Now we're here ready to attack. Arm crush, arm bar, douchebag, it's all there. This deep hook transition to spider web is probably the easiest one, yet it's probably one of the most important as well. Very common position where I have his back here, got both my hooks in. I can transition to the truck, we already went over that, but we could also transition to spider web, which again, in my opinion, is the most dangerous position of all the dead zones. So from here, remember the deep hook is the most important thing, so we're gonna release the over-under control, put the deep hook in, nice and deep, then we go to a swim move. Shin on behind his neck, push his head through, and we end up in spider web. Very basic, yet very, very important. I'm on his back. There's 30 seconds to go. You see this in MMA a lot. Dudes are punching, guys are defending. The bell's gonna ring pretty soon. You might get knocked out in the next round on your feet when you could have ended it right here. So you must have options from failed back position, whether it's transitioning to the truck or transitioning to spider web. Deep hook embrace, again, so you don't face plant. Shin behind the neck, flip him over, catch his leg, perfect spider web. He's not going anywhere. Not thinking about the submission. I'm thinking about controlling him and keeping him on his back. As my twister got more and more developed, my opponents, when caught in twister side, would often lay their legs straight down and let me mount them because they knew they had a better chance at escaping my mount than the truck. That's when I decided, in order to become a complete jiu-jitsu fighter, I had to make them pay for allowing me to mount them so easily by mastering the mount. So again, with the help of my master, Jean-Jacques Machado, I decided to break down the no-gi mount to the molecular level. When mounting from twister side control, generally my first mission is to control the mount. So whether we're using the tiptoe mount or the gallop mount from twister side control, my first goal at this point